Hi, my name is John Moll, and I've been coming to Harvest DeKalb for 3 years now, and I get to serve on the worship team here. When I was 10 months is when I got adopted from Russia, and so I spent 10 months in Russia, but for those whole 10 months I was in a crib, and there were 2 nurses for 30 kids, and so no kid was taken adequate care of. Growing up, I kind of was just always okay with being adopted. There was never this moment where people, my parents sat me down and were like, yeah, we adopted you from Russia. They did a really good job of me and my siblings just knew that we were from Russia. I would notice that I was a little bit different in the way that I walked or the way that things were. As I was going through middle school and through high school, I was this constant pattern of trying to fit in or trying to be like the other kids. I was pretty good at football, and so I found my identity in that a lot. I played wide receiver and just kind of got the attention from people, kind of fed into the idea that, oh yeah, you're doing something that you're really good at. You're good enough here, and you're gonna build friendships off of that. And so that's where just getting into bad stuff started to happen. Very quickly, I found myself getting involved in that, and knowing that it wasn't right, knowing that it was against what the Lord was calling me to, because at this time I was still into ministry and doing stuff like that. So there'd be times where I would party during the week and then come to church on Sunday, and I remember doing that over and over again, and just kind of guilt being coming to church and be I don't belong here. This isn't. And so that led to the depression and the anger. There was a season where I was just angry at God because I didn't understand what He was doing. I didn't understand what I was doing ultimately. I was sneaky about it. And I think that was what built on the guilt a lot, was because I knew that not only was this disrespectful to me or to the Lord, but it was disrespectful to them, that I'm coming home late and I'm not in the right mindset. And I know that God never leaves you or forsakes you. That's evident, that's clear. But there was that time where I was well, I feel like God's nowhere to be found, where I'm just in this constant cycle of sinning and then reaching out to Him. But I think the real issue was my heart, and that I wasn't really searching for God, or I wasn't calling out to Him, but rather I was running in circles, and I was only fooling myself during that time. There was a lot of times where I'd be in a room full of my friends, or in a room of people that I knew cared about me, but it felt like I was the only person in that room, or I was the only person who knew what was going on. That was I think that was the core part of everything, was if I don't do this, or if I don't hang with these people, or I don't say this thing, that people are gonna view me differently or not want to be around me. I think I was doing a lot of searching at that time, and I think ultimately I wasn't looking in the right places for things. I used to see Jesus as this guy who, yes, I knew He died for my sins, but I don't think I fully ever believed that I was fully forgiven. I always believed that there was this stuff that I had to do to come before the Lord. I had to get my stuff together and do things so that the Lord would love me more, or see me more and bless me. But now it's more of I want to be with God, to be with God and have a relationship with Him because of what He did on the cross, knowing that I'm fully forgiven and fully loved, and there's nothing that I can do to lose that. I always like to look back and the realization that I could have literally ended up anywhere is mind-boggling, and I don't think I'll ever be able to fully wrap my head around that. But the Lord blessed me with parents who love Him and who want that for their children. And so through that and through them adopting me and bringing me to Sycamore, Illinois, of all places, it's like now I get to play music and I get to serve and be in ministry and lead others to the Lord through my ministry. That's awesome. So it's super corny, but I always say, like, I don't know what my future holds, but I know, like, who holds my future. And I know that the Lord is, like, working for my good ultimately, because scripture tells us that. Yeah, I had this, like, wishful thinking view of God where I wish all my struggles would just go away, or like that they would just disappear. And I didn't understand like who God was ultimately. Like, I knew facts about God, but I didn't know God personally. And I think that was the hardest thing to come to terms with. But now, as I've studied the Word, as I've grown in my relationship with the Lord, I know confidently that, like, He is hope and He brings hope. I think hope is not just a feeling or an emotion, but it is that confident expectation in who Jesus is and what He says He is,